Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you'll be watching from. It's your very own Amanda Lasmon. For those of you who know me on Facebook, I am Amanda Lasmon, and I am the author of Purpose Beyond My Scars, a book that was published in May last year. And by the grace of God, since the release of the book, God has been awesome. God has been faithful. It's been, going around the world as far as Japan. And I'm really very excited about it. And many times I receive messages of how encouraging it has been to people. And I'm humbled by that. So we've tried the best we can to push the book out there, and by the grace of God, it now has a Dutch version. So for our Dutch listeners, it's available on Amazon, and even the English version is available on Amazon. So as you come on board, kindly share this video, because we're going to be doing something different. This is a very wonderful idea from one of our board members, Unique Grace. So I want to say kudos to her for her creative ideas. Vocals for Christ has many members who contribute one way or the other to what we do. So Vocals for Christ is not just Amanda Lasman. Vocals for Christ is not just all my ideas. There are many people who come up with different ideas to, the things that we do, the things that we present, the projects that we do. So I want to say, first of all, thank you to all members of my team for always supporting me in anything I want to do, for always being there. I can't mention all their names, but they know themselves. So the main purpose of this new program that we started is called Live Reading with the Author. And the main purpose of it is to share this book with you. I'll be doing a page-to-page read of this book every week until we get to the end of the book. And as I do, I'm not going to be reading many pages at a time. Maybe we do 1 or 2 chapters every edition, every program. And then we talk about it, we discuss it. I would like it to be an interactive session where you listen to what I'm going to read. I'll talk to you about it. If you have any questions, you can ask me. And I am here to answer any questions that you may have. It doesn't matter how personal it is. Just inbox me the question and I will do the best I can to answer as honest as I can. Many people who have read the book have one thing in common, that they say there was no pretense in the book. I made clear my lowest moments, and I also made clear my highest moments. I didn't paint a picture of the best things like we see on Facebook the day you cook good food, you put it online. So we're going to be doing that today, and I would like you to please help share the video. Share. Before we start, I want some more people to come online before we begin the reading. Kindly share the video before we begin to. So we're going to be doing that today, and I would like you to please. Sorry about that. So we don't want to disturb the the live broadcast. So please, we're going to wait a little bit. Kindly share. It's live reading with the author. Live reading with the author. I need to have at least a good number of people online before we can start. So let me know if you're there so that we can start the reading. Like I told you, the purpose is to share this book with you. Corona period, the Corona lockdown, everybody's home. It's a Saturday afternoon. So let's come together and enjoy this book. I'll be reading maybe 2 chapters. You can ask any question you want to ask concerning the book, concerning my life, concerning the things you hear in this book. It's a chronicle of my own life journey. So we'll be doing it. Many people have purchased it. And for those of you who have read the book, kindly help me by sending in any questions or any question that you, maybe while reading the book, something came up in you like, but why didn't she do this or why did she do that? Are there questions that came up in your mind as you were reading the book? This is your opportunity to ask me those questions. This is your opportunity to ask me anything that you want to ask. So as we'll be going through this book, Purpose Beyond My Scars, and I'll be reading through the questions that people will send. My phone number is +32 473 526048. You can send me a message on WhatsApp. You can inbox me on Facebook Messenger. Inbox me your message, or you can put it in the comment section. For those of you who have read it. But those of you who have not read it, no problem. I'm going to begin with the reading. And then at the end of the session, at the end of the reading, as I am reading, take notes. As I am reading, jot down your questions. As I am reading, anything you don't understand in the book about me, anything you want to ask, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask anything that you want to ask. Just inbox me the question. So we're going to begin to read the book, and based on the questions, like I was saying before, someone may win a copy of this book. But that will be left for us to judge based on your question, your contribution, or let's see how it goes. This is the first edition of live reading with the author, and the book we're going to be reading is Purpose Beyond My Scars. Now we have so the book we're going to be reading is Purpose Beyond My Scars. That is the copy that I got from Amazon. This is the original copy. They are both the same, but this is the original copy that I launched the book with. So that's why I'm taking it, so that you may be wondering, why is there another version there? They are both the same thing. They are both in English. We also have the Dutch version of it. So for our non-English speakers, we have the Dutch version of it. By the grace of God, we hope to put it in other languages as well. So like I said in the beginning, I want to thank Unique Grace, Funke Emesiri Ojo, for this awesome initiative. Thank you very much, and thank you to all members of our team for always supporting me. So we're going to begin with the reading of the book. It's by yours truly. This is the first page of it. It's a true life story titled Purposed Beyond My Scars. Purposed Beyond My Scars. I'm going to be slowly explaining many things. I know that someone may ask, why purposed beyond my scars? You can ask that question and I will explain it. The title is Purposed Beyond My Scars, and the subtitle is When Impossibility Became My Teacher for Doing Life. When impossibility became my teacher for doing life. Like I said before, my name is Amanda FN Amwebie. That's the name on the book. Many of you know me as Amanda Lasman. Introduction of the book. You have 10 chapters in the book, and we'll be taking them maybe 2 at a time, depending on how much time permits us. So this book was forwarded by Reverend Blessing Ogbonna, the coordinator, Europe coordinator of Christ Apostolic Church of God Mission. I'm going to be sharing everything from the foreword to the introduction of this book so that you can fully grasp the main reason for writing this book. So I'm going to read the foreword. It says, a lot of people have finally accepted the wrong path and laid down their defense weapon and focus. Hope for a better tomorrow. An unimaginable number have been forced to crash due to life's circumstances, and then reduced to confused, depressed, and frustrated because they gave up hope, and now are walking in the opposite direction of their destiny, a state of total disaster. The worst thing that can happen to a man is not death, but to go through life without knowing your purpose. Amanda's heartbreaking story unimaginably turned into a mind and heart lifting treasure. She smelt and saw and experienced all it takes to crush anyone and turn them in the opposite direction of their destiny, but she remained relentless. Wisely and courageously, standing her ground even when it seemed impossible, she fought her way through and became a permanent victor. This has made her today a living proof of the saying, if you don't give up, your problems will give up. This book is a powerful source of courage and inspiration to all who may have resigned from life struggles. I spent quality time with the author in conversations and found her more than equipped to boost those who cross her path for the unimaginable. I wholeheartedly recommend this book, this life-transforming book, to all who are passing through different challenges and are determined to get fortified against dangerous arrows of failure. This was written by Reverend Blessing Ogbonna, the Europe coordinator of Christ Apostolic Church of God Mission. Now, I'm going to read another part of the book, which is the introduction from my editor. She said, I have known Mrs. Lasmon online for over 6 years or more. The first time we became friends, I was drawn by her passion, drive, and warm enthusiasm that followed from illuminating through the screen. I never knew her story then. I didn't need to ask her because for me, her scar was nothing more than a badge of how determinedly she did fight life and give life a good beat. Just the same way it made no sense for me to ask the person next to me why they had 2 eyes and 1 nose. I just did not see her any differently from you or I. When she approached me sometime in March and solicited I take on the edit of her book, I was reluctant. I was pressed with my own personal writing and too little time to do anything else. So I directed her to several options. Like the ever-determined one-lady army, she eventually found her way back to me. I felt it in me that only you can give my story the right touch it deserves. That made me take note and sit up. My curiosity piqued by her certainty and insistence. For sure, I wondered about her story, for which she so badly wanted me to handle and promised to glance at a page or 2. I got hooked. I lost myself in her story, in the beauty and joy of her life. At a point, I had to stop and take a deep breath. I envied the happiness laid out so vividly on ink. My decision was made. I will take it. And I did. Amanda's story is one hell of a roller coaster ride. From the romantic meeting with her husband, David, to the challenges of childbearing and motherhood, and the eventual demise of her support mama. We learn of her strength and survival, her struggle to live again after her face deteriorated. I do not regret taking on the edit because this is a story that speaks to its readers in so many ways than we had ever imagined. Gloria Ogo. She is the author of While Men Slept, the African American and Black Opal. Somebody may say, why am I reading these things? I'm trying to lay a groundwork about this book so that you can understand the sentiment, the feeling behind this book. So now we go to the preface, and this is where it begins. Purpose Beyond My Scars by Amanda F.N. Amwebia, popularly known to you as Amanda Lasmon. In my daily life, I have always spoken freely about my struggles in life. Have I had many of those? Never made it a secret, not that I could hide my scars or shield away from speaking about them. But as I read through my diaries in search of accurate information to write this book, I felt so many emotions flooding back like the wave of the sea. So many tiny details that I had not given thought to in many years. It felt like opening cans of worms. The memories of so many painful, scary, tiny wounds that left me with scars. I felt these waves of emotion mount up like the swelling of the sea. Then I felt these rising waves being subdued by yet another stronger emotion. A feeling that made me look back to see the pains, fears, doubts, disappointments, despair, and hopelessness of my past move to the present state. My boldness, courage, self-esteem, and even further to a future of hope, not just for me, but for all those who are physically and emotionally scarred, those who have struggled, those who are struggling, and those who will struggle, comes from an inner peace, an inner knowledge that we are purposed beyond our scars. Purpose beyond my scars is a detailed account of my true life story, a chronicle of my journey, my struggles, challenges, doubts, fears, loss, pain, and joy, truthfully told to inspire, motivate, encourage, and impact anyone to whom life may have dealt traumatic blows. Anyone who may be or may have been discouraged, hurt, abused, rejected, abandoned. Anyone with visible or invisible scars who is too scared or discouraged to face life with boldness. That no matter where your scars are located, on your face, in your heart, or your soul, they should never stop you from discovering, pursuing, and achieving your dreams, because your purpose in life goes beyond your scars. I would like to acknowledge some very beautiful and wonderful people who made this book come true, who made my dream come true, the dream to write this book. My best friend, my brother, my lover, my biggest fan, my husband, David Zanin, for giving me the wings to fly, for encouraging me to pursue everything I have ever put my mind to do, and for letting me know that I am worthy of love. My children, Ezra and Brielle Zanin, for agreeing to share me with the world and giving me all the mama time that I needed to work on every project I have ever done. Reverend Blessing Ogbonna, who encouraged me that the world needed to hear my testimony outside the short church and event testimony times. Reverend Derek of Harthens and his lovely wife, Evangelist Beauty Ogbonna. The Papa and Mama of Vocals for Christ Foundation, for their love, encouragement, and support to me and my needs. For teaching me to birth my dream. Mrs. Justina Obasiokore, the author of Every Christian Woman of Destiny, For her sincerity, she's a true sister and friend. Pastor Alexander Emogene, for his support in making my dream come true. My friend of over 20 years, Mr. Sonny Oji, for proofreading my work and contributing to the successful completion of this book. Gloria Ogo, author of Why Men Slept, for excellent editorial service and her tough but honest advice. Above all, I give the glory, honor, and adoration to God, who gave me the special grace to walk in His grace for my life, to walk in His purpose for my life, and who brought all these wonderful people to help me fulfill my purpose. Chapter 1. Like I said before, the purpose of reading those places, the preface, the introduction and all, is to let you understand everything about this book, every detail of it. The beginning. Here begins the story. Chapter 1. It was about 11:35 p.m. The midwife placed the baby on a table in a quiet corner of the hospital room and unplugged the suction tube. Standing beside the duo faced, drained of color and pale with panic, David watched the nurse proceed to clear the baby's airways. My baby was not crying. I should be sleeping. I should be taking a much-deserved rest, but I could not. My eyes followed each of the midwife's gestures, the wetness welling behind my pupils. Oh my God, make this right, I said a silent prayer. Why is she not crying? I asked the two nurses, hovering over my bed. One of them, a student nurse, bit her lip and looked away. She was afraid to meet the plea in my gaze. Before either of them had a chance to answer, the baby let out a shrill cry. I fell back on the pillow with a relief and tried to laugh, but I knew I would only end up crying. From so much happiness, my lids began to close, sleep gradually stealing over me. Good girl, the midwife said. I heard her laugh and opened my eyes to see her lifting the baby in the air. Wide grin spread over her face. She's fine, honey, David said to me with a broad smile. Sensing the question, I hesitated to ask. He lifted his thumb and gave me a nod. We held our breath, listening to our baby's cry echo like Beethoven's best composition. The student nurse, still a bit shaken, placed her hand on my arm. She looked at me compassionately and asked how I was doing. I figured this was her first experience with baby delivery and felt so sorry for her. I'm okay, considering what I have been through. My voice came faintly. The placenta had just come out. I still needed medical attention. But I couldn't wait to tell my mother the wonderful news. I pointed at the phone on the table next to my bed. I would like to make a quick call. My whole body ached. My waist burned as though it had been placed under the African pepper grinding stone. Heart pounding like fluttering butterfly wings. I accepted the phone the nurse gave me and dialed Mama's number. Even though it was the middle of winter, I was sweating. My head twirled and I waited impatiently for Mama to pick up on the other end of the continent. After what seemed like an eternity, the familiar voice came on. For a moment, I did not respond. In silence, I savored the warmth which the memory of Mama's voice unleashed. Hello, Abonye? Mama asked, who is it in my native dialect? Hello, Newefi. I greeted her by her family title. Emotions flooded, choking me. From the way she sucked in air sharply, I knew she placed my voice. Still, I went on to identify myself. Obomo, it's me, Nkechi, I said. Aruka, she called me by my pet name. Odikwama. Her voice rose a notch. She wanted to know if everything was okay. Yes, Mama, I said excitedly. How are you? You sound strange. I'm very fine, I assured her. The smile still in my voice. I cleared my throat. Name, I'm calling from the hospital. I have just given birth to a baby girl. Isigini, what did you say? She asked in disbelief. I just gave birth to a baby girl, I repeated, giggling. Arokakwa, what did you say? You gave birth to a baby girl? A real baby? Are you alive? The questions came fast without a pause. Despite her shocked tone, I could tell the news was gradually sinking in. Her astonishment amused me. I found it hilarious that Mama would think I joked with something as important as this. Nay, I'm alive. I'm speaking to you, am I not? I laughed. Yes, it's true, she chuckled. Chukwe, Aruka, you gave birth to a real baby and you're alive. Sobs swallowed the rest of her words. Hearing my mother cry was more than I could bear. I tried to tell her it was okay, but she was no longer listening. She prayed, sang, and cried all at once. I held onto the handset, lips quivering, tears rolling down my cheeks. I listened to her thank God and Anianam, her birthplace, for keeping her alive to see this day. That was the very night of 19th December 2010, the night my second daughter was born. It just wasn't possible. I felt surreal. It was true. Countless doctor's appointments, too many negative reports, killed any hope that David and I had of having a second child. I sighed softly. This was our own special miracle. A plan we didn't see coming. Too tired to fight the sleep any longer, I embraced the restful darkness and let the tears fall. As I lost consciousness, my lips moved silently to the words, the plans I have for you to give you a hope and a future. Now, David and I met on his 30th birthday on the 6th of February 1998. It was at a small Spanish eat dance cafe owned by George's friend. The decor was not very fancy, but nicely done in a typical Spanish style. The inside of the eatery had a dining and a small dancing area. Outside was covered with a canopy and mostly used during the warm season. The canopy provided shade for people to smoke. I had gone to eat with my boss at the time, Margot, her husband, and a few friends for Margot's birthday. George was of a Greek origin, but had studied in the United States of America, where he met and married his Dutch wife, Margot. They had returned to live in Limburg after the death of Margot's mother 5 years prior, to be close to the aged father. George was a project manager while Margot ran a flower shop just below the apartment. They had hired me as their live-in care for their 5-month-old baby Danae. A friendly waiter welcomed us to the restaurant and showed our small group to a table. He served us aperitifs, took our order and disappeared to the kitchen. As soon as the waiter was out of sight, George quickly delved in on the starters and we all joined him. The atmosphere was cozy. We talked and laughed aloud while we waited for our meal. My phone rang. The conversation at the table stopped and everyone turned to look at me. Sorry, I mumbled and flushed in embarrassment. Rummaging through my bag, I excused myself from the group to take the call outside. It was someone who was owing me money. A courier of some sort who transported goods to Nigeria at rates lower than the official courier services. A few months prior, I had given her some money and a piece of luggage to my family in Nigeria. They received the luggage, but not the money. Her story: she was duped in Nigeria. It was my first time of using her services, but rather, I later learned she was known for this sort of shady business. How dare she? I fumed. Don't call my number again until you are ready to stop your cheap tricks and pay me my money. I hung up and turned to walk back into the restaurant. That was when I saw him. A man standing a few meters from me, smoking a cigarette. He stood still, watching me through the transparent smoke haze, not saying anything. He inclined his head, and I walked past him. I returned the nod and went back to my friends. Everything all right? Margot asked, studying my face. Yes, I said and forced a smile. I wasn't fooling anyone, but they let me be. Our food arrived. A delicious mix of fried prawns and dip, paella rice with pieces of meat, shellfish and tortilla, a Spanish omelette made from potatoes and eggs. We dug in. The food was good and most of it disappeared fast. Margot and George hit the dance floor with some friends, while Barbara, an Indonesian friend, and I remained at the table sipping our drinks. We didn't talk much. We watched the others dance. We were comfortable watching the others dance to Cher's new release, Believe. It seemed like a lot of fun. I was toying with the idea of joining them on the dance floor when the music suddenly stopped. The owner of the cafe took the microphone. cleared his throat, and began a congratulatory message in Dutch to Margot and another celebrant. Join me on stage. The owner invited them amidst a standing ovation and happy birthday song in Dutch. The celebrant turned out to be the man I had seen outside earlier that evening. I didn't speak Dutch, so I joined in on cheering for them. Margot and the rest of the group returned to our table, and the birthday man came over to congratulate Margot. Eyes bright with excitement, she introduced the stranger to her husband and the rest of us. Hope you are no longer angry, he said as he shook my hands. I stared at him, perplexed. Who was he talking about? You two know each other? Margot interjected before I could get out a word. I opened and closed my mouth, unsure what to say. No, the man said. He continued to stare at me, an amused smile on his lips. We saw each other outside, though we did not introduce ourselves. Oh, you were the one behind me while I was taking a call? I pretended not to remember him. Of course I'm not angry, I smirked. His smile widened. My name is David. I'm here with some of my friends for my 30th birthday. Congratulations, I know that then, I guess, I said, suddenly self-conscious about how he stared at me. Grab a chair and have a drink with us, Margot invited, almost jumping like an excited schoolgirl. I was sorely tempted to kick her from beneath the table. Sure, he agreed. Before I could say jack, he walked over to the next empty table, pulled a chair and positioned himself between Barbara and I. The conversation with him went back to Dutch. Margot tried to explain to me what was being said every now and then. Margot chatted away. Yes, Margot, my boss was a talkative, but in a pleasant way. She was one of those women who made you feel at home 5 minutes into your first meeting. The guy seemed mightily comfy with our group. Gauging from how often he threw back his head and laughed at something funny Margot said, he was enjoying himself immensely. Once he raised his head, caught me staring at, and gave me one of his charming grins that made me quickly look away. He changed the conversation to English every now and then to include me, occasionally asking some personal questions. It was obvious to the group that he was interested in me. I shrugged it off. There was nothing to it. He's simply being nice because we had earlier encountered each other that evening. After a short while, he excused himself to go back to his friends. Thank you, Margot, for the drink. It's a pleasure to have met all of you tonight. You're welcome, friend, Margot said in a raised drink. He turned to me, brow slightly raised. Could I see you for a drink another time? I seemed to have lost my ability to speak. I heard Margot say something to the man in Dutch before I could answer. He looked at me. Just a second, he said, and walked towards the bar. George threw me a quick glance, a wry smile on his face. I licked my lips nervously, wondering what was going on. He was back soon, holding out a piece of paper. Here! He pointed at the numbers on the paper. This is my cell phone number and the other one is my fixed phone number. Is this how white people behave? I've never been asked on a date in front of many people. I accepted the paper and tried to hide my embarrassment. Yes, I asked him to write down the number. Margot smiled. He wants to have a drink with you. Tomorrow. Tomorrow? I could feel my heartbeat race. Yes, she nodded, unaware of my discomfort. If you like, but it's okay with us. She gave her husband a stern look. Okay, Judge. Okay? Judge nodded with a sheepish grin. Did Margot just set me up on a date? Matchmaking for me? What am I, a teenager? Did I tell anyone I needed a date? Did I tell anyone I needed help finding a date? I wanted to say no, but seeing the look on everyone's face and not wanting to appear stupid, I accepted to meet him the next day for a drink. Yes, I said the words, heavy on my tongue. Great! We could meet in front of Felicetti. It's an Italian grocery shop about 500 meters from here. Do you know it? Sure. Fine by me, I agreed, unable to match his enthusiasm. For some unexplainable reasons, I didn't show up for the appointment. No one said anything about it until the next Saturday, when David turned up at our doorstep. Saturday, 14th February 1998. The weather was cold. I didn't have any Valentine plans, but woke up giddy with excitement. I had the day off and was traveling to Brussels to braid my hair. It was not my regular day off. George's mom had come from Greece to visit, and they were taking Danae, the baby I was taking care of, to visit a family in Germany. Living with this family and taking care of this little baby was not a typical babysitting job. Born with an obstructive sleep apnea, Danae had a medical condition that caused her temporary loss of breath during sleep. She slept with a face mask connected to a pump called the CPAP machine. This machine forced air into her nasal passages at pressures high enough to overcome obstructions in the airway and stimulate normal breathing. My job was to monitor the machine and switch it back in case it stopped at night. It was a mentally challenging job. This little person's life was almost in my hands. They assured me that the machine might probably never stop, but someone needed to be there in case. George and Margot allowed me free time whenever it was possible outside my regular days off. This Saturday was one of those extra free days. I took a long hot shower, selected a pair of dark blue trousers, a black sweater and a blazer. It was quite a walk from the train station to my hairdresser's, so I put on a pair of not too high-heeled shoes. I heard the bell ring and took one last look at myself in the mirror before casually strolling down the hallway to answer the door. I was taken aback when I saw Maggie standing on the front porch. Could you come down for a second? Someone is looking for you at the flower shop. She flashed me a grin that veiled lots of secrets. Me? I found it odd. She nodded with a hint of mischief still visible in the sparkling eyes. Yes, of course, I stammered, tugging absently at the hem of my blazer. A worried frown creasing my forehead. Leaving my employer still standing at the door, I went back in to pick my handbag and another plastic bag containing my artificial hair. I didn't really know people in the area. I had only been working with the family for about 5 months. Who could be looking for me? Down at the shop, it took all the courage I could muster to take in large gulps of air and cautiously open the door. And there stood the birthday man from last Saturday, David. Oh my God, my heart raced. I didn't go to our Saturday appointment. How did he find me? David, I squeaked, my mouth going dry as sandpaper. When he turned and I came head on with his charm. Amanda, he said matter-of-factly. How did you find this place? Who told you where to find me? The shock of seeing him again had somehow untaped my voice. He cast a look at my boss, the amusement returning to his face. I did, Margot admitted a little sheepishly. The mischievous smile still lingered on her face. She gave me an apologetic look, and I turned away, still furiously. I was stunned. When did all that happen? Then it dawned on me that she must have said it in Dutch, and I didn't understand Dutch. Apparently, Margot had told him the location of our flower shop during their discussion the previous Saturday. And when I didn't show up for our appointment on Sunday, he decided to come look for me at Margot's flower shop, which was right below her apartment. I didn't have any explanations for not showing up at our rendezvous, so I lied. I'm sorry about Saturday, I said quickly before he could say anything. I overslept and before I arrived, you had already left. He gave me a funny look as though he knew I was lying. And like a schoolgirl caught with her hand in a cookie jar, I wished the ground would open and swallow me. Margot tells me you're going to Brussels, he said, accepting my apology with a dismissive wave of the hand. Margot again, I bristled. Yes, I was just going to call a cab to take me to the station. Buses take too long to arrive. I gave my boss a warning side eye and shook my head when she flashed me 2 thumbs up. I can take you to the train station if you want, he said. I accepted the offer. See you later, Margot. David paused at the door and thank you. Hey, it is the least I can do. She spread her arms wide and tried to sound humble. I went over to my employer, who was smiling from ear to ear, hugged her and walked out of the shop. into the cold morning. The man not far from me. Once in the car, David turned to me and said, "Well, if you want, I can take you to Brussels instead." My eyes widened in surprise. He seemed to read my disbelief in them. "Yes, I mean it," he chuckled boyishly. I went back to the shop to tell Margot about the change in plans. The 1-hour trip to Brussels gave us time to talk and get to know a bit about each other. We arrived in good time at the home of my Togolese friend, who doubled as my hairdresser. Braiding my hair turned out to be more time consuming than usual. Mamima, as we called her, had a 3-year-old son and a 2-month-old baby. She shuttled between braiding my hair, breastfeeding her baby, and taking care of the 3-year-old. I knew all this and told David it would take about 4 to 6 hours to braid my hair. But never did I imagine the number of hours we finally spent. 9 hours. David sat there playing with the little boy, occasionally going out for a cigarette. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't live without finishing my hair. My friend and I kept apologizing to him. At a point I suggested he went back without me. "I will return by train," I assured him, but he insisted. It was such a mess. Why did I invite this guy here? Why did I bring him with me? Why didn't I just let him drop me off at the station? I was so angry with myself for the inconveniences to him. Other than, "Oh, it's not a problem," he didn't say much each time I apologized. I thought he was being a gentleman. He didn't want to leave me alone in Brussels, but I was sure he wasn't coming back after this date. We left my hairdressers at about 7 p.m. Once again inside the car, he reassured me that he wasn't upset. I was only worried that the reservation I had made at a fish restaurant would be too late by the time we got back to the village. I wasn't sure I heard him right. "I hope you don't mind that I made a reservation without telling you." He sounded unsure whether he had offended me. He looked so boyishly innocent in that moment against the light of the approaching dusk. "How did you know to pick such a place? This is a pleasant..." My voice trailed off and I looked away to stare through the windscreen. "Surprise?" he asked, finishing my sentence. His fingers drummed on the steering wheel. "You mentioned the love for seafood on our drive over this morning." Is he serious? I kept him all day in Brussels without a decent meal, and now he wants to take me to a seafood restaurant? He made a call and spoke shortly in Dutch. "When luck," he said, casting an admiring glance at my new hair. "The restaurant still has a place for us." "Thank you. This is really kind of you, David. Maybe we could do dinner some other time?" I was still a little nervous. It was late and we were obviously exhausted, having been in Brussels all day. He gave me a firm shake of his head. No. I want to have this Valentine dinner with you." I didn't know what to make of this. I called Margot again to tell her what had happened in Brussels. I hesitated, and David invited me to have dinner with him tonight, I added. Oh, of course, she said with a far greater excitement than I was feeling. Do have a wonderful evening, honey. We aren't expecting you back till tomorrow. There was no baby to take care of tonight. I was free to go on a date with David. Okay, it's a bed then, I thought. Our first date was at Il Fratelli, an exquisitely decorated little Italian restaurant on the shortened street of Maasmechelen, owned by a friendly pair, Erica and Luca. The seafood pasta dish, linguine con frutti di mare, was delectable. David was quite easy to talk to, had a lot to tell. I listened to him describe his family, the people he worked with, friends, and this little town, Maasmechelen, where he was born and grew up. Ever been to Maasmechelen before? I shook my head, chewing delicately on my meal. You will love it. Talking about his childhood gave him extra buoyancy. It is a relatively small municipality located on the Meuse River, near the border of Holland in the Belgian province of Limburg. Doesn't sound extremely busy to me. No, he agreed. It has enough nature to even out the many roads and buildings. As a result of its location near the border and its coal mining history, quite a number of the current inhabitants are of Dutch, German, Eastern European, or the Mediterranean, mostly Italian origin. I continued eating and listening to him talk. Even though the mines were closed many years ago, the Aisden's Cité, a 20th century garden city with a typical cottage-like houses in a park setting, still bears witness to the city's mining history. Did you like it much growing up there? He shrugged, his spoon toying with his seafood on his plate. My father, Joseph Zanin, was one of the Italians who worked in the mines. He migrated to Belgium in 1944 from Mazignano, an industrial town and commune in the province of Vicenza, Veneto, Italy. According to my aunt, he joined the mines at a very young age. He later met and married my mother, Elsa Bortolini. Sounds like a perfect love story to me, I said. He winced. I have 4 sisters. My mother lost a battle to ill health and died, unfortunately at the age of 38 when I was just 2 years old. I'm sorry, David, I said as I reached across the table and held his hand. He didn't pull away. My father, Joseph, was left to raise the 5 children alone as he never remarried. He died about 4 months ago. Having run out of steam, he went quiet and took a sip of his wine. It was my turn to talk. I told him about my country, my childhood, and my family. I was born and raised in a family of 4 girls with me as sister number 4. I had a great childhood. We were not rich, but comfortable. My father, who died 2 weeks after I left Nigeria, was from Umunede in the Delta state of Nigeria. He had settled in Azogbo Washuku, where we were all born. In search of greener pastures, there was a sympathetic understanding in his voice. He was a farmer and did quite well for his time and era. We didn't lack anything as children. We didn't have running water or electricity. We fetched wood from the forest and water from the stream. You still look back to your childhood with so much nostalgia, he observed. I smiled. It wasn't that at all. At night, children gathered to their age grades under the moonlight to play a one, the moonlight play. Some sat around the elders to listen to old folk tales, while some, mostly girls, formed circles and practiced the cultural dances which they performed during festivities. I've never seen anything like that. It sounds like fun, he added. I nodded. My sisters woke up very early to fetch water from the stream before they went to school. As the last child, I was pampered and sometimes not allowed to join the early morning water fetching. He grinned. Must have sucked to be an older child then. I googled. My mother was from Moto Chadam in Anambra State. She was a trader and had a big kerosene tank where small retailers came to buy in jerry cans. My parents moved back to my village, Umrede, in 1986 because it was my father's turn to head his kinsmen. He died 7 years later, and mother still lives in my village. He seemed almost sad when my story came to an end. Dinner ended with dessert and complimentary coffee from Erica, who came around to chat for a few minutes before David took me back to my boss's house. At the door, he took my hand. I enjoyed every moment of our evening, and I want to see you again, Amanda. I smiled and shrugged. Okay. I was playing it cool, wanting to show that I was interested but not overly eager. He leaned forward and gave me a goodnight kiss and left. Inside the house, I felt lightheaded, though I had not had any alcohol that evening. Wow! What an evening! I quickly made a mental note to thank my God for all this, took a quick shower and climbed into bed. It had been a long day. I was happy to finally spread out on my cotton sheet and replay the evening's event in my head. Although while with David, I tried to pretend that my interest level wasn't as high, I knew one thing in my mind. I wanted to see him again. So for today, I think I want to stop a little bit to look at some of the comments that I see here and see if anyone has a question. If you have a question, you can already start asking your questions, preparing them, sending them in box. I have been listening to questions coming in. I want to see if I have questions concerning this. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Thank you, all of you that have joined. I want to see if you have questions If you have questions, let me know. Now, this is just the beginning of a book, the meeting. So while we're waiting for anybody who has any questions. Okay, yes. I asked the question, is this how white people behave? It's true, I was taken aback. Now, let me... Okay, so we still have a lot to read from chapter 1. So I'm going to start here. By the time we ended that evening, I knew I wanted to see him again. And somebody asked a question. Let me read that question. Okay, it says, before, it says, okay. I can see you smiling as you read about your meeting. Before meeting him, were you planning to date a white man? Or have you been involved with a white person before? Okay, good question. I promised to answer truthfully. I was not planning to meet a white person or meet a black person or meet any, how do I say it? I wasn't planning to meet a particular race. For me, it had always been, I have been taught right from home, like you heard in what I read. My father was from Delta State and my mother from Anambra State. So right from my childhood, I was never given this idea of these people are from this place or those people are from that place. It was, for me, a question of meeting someone who valued me for me. So I was not planning to meet a white man or meet a black man. For me, it was a question of who cared for me, being in a good relationship, being in a relationship with someone who valued me. That was it. So I hope that I have answered that question. Now let me see. You said it was embarrassing to you when he asked you out in front of that. Embarrassing. Notice this. If we want to face the truth, if we want to tell ourselves the truth, now we as Africans, and I think also some, let me not use the word normal people, we are raised that if you meet a man, okay, there are no standard. Today I think that there is no standard way for a man to talk to you. But I personally still believe that in a group where you're just sitting down, as of today, I would still feel embarrassed if I was a young girl or if I was a single person and a man in front of everybody just says to me, would you mind having a drink with me sometime? I would expect him to say, okay, excuse me, could I have a word with you? Without everybody else staring. And as we go along, you will discover that my boss was a little heavy, not in a bad way, but like, hey, and if you find yourself now, mind you, I was the only black person among them. I was not used to this type of somebody, this type of way, or somebody just being bold to ask you out in front of everybody. What we were used to, okay, a guy fancies you, like in school or something. Sometimes they even send their friend to come and talk to you. Sometimes they write you a letter. And here I am, somebody in the middle of a restaurant with many people seated there, asking me, would you want to have a drink with me sometime? Maybe I was a little timid, maybe I was a bush girl, but I don't think so, because even today I would still find it a little weird, a little strange, a little embarrassing. Maybe I would handle it better today. Maybe I wouldn't have said I like I said that day, but I still would find it embarrassing today. So for me it was embarrassing. I don't know, maybe for other people it might be a normal thing, but for me, even till date, I still think it's not a bad way to ask somebody, but it's embarrassing. It was embarrassing for me. So let's look through these people. Okay, let's see. Questions will be answered. Average power use solutions problems. Okay. Any questions? Funke says, Lord, is this how white people behave? Yes, oh my dear, I was like, which canteen be this one? No. Okay, so let's see what questions say on this page. Let me look through my phone. So I'm waiting for you. If you have any questions to ask, go ahead and ask. We are still on reading with the author. I believe that we have done an hour and a half, so I'm going to use the remaining half hour to answer questions on please, while I'm going through the messages, send in your questions or your comments or whatever it is that you want to do. Oh, greetings, Dalimado, Ngozi Akeze, Ngozi Jemo, Wumi Ajomole, God bless you. So, like I said in the beginning, what's the purpose of this? Now, we have just read a part of the book that is very, very interesting. We're talking about romance, we're talking about love. But the whole story is not all about, all the sweet, romantic things that we have read. As we go along, maybe on another episode, as we go along, you begin to, the stories begin to unfold. The different parts of this book begin to unfold. Like I said in the preface, this is a book that has different aspects. This book has fear, disappointment, disillusionment, all kinds of things. that we deal with daily in life. And the purpose of this is for you to, maybe you listen to it and you can hear something that resonates with you, something that you may be going through, something that you know somebody that is going through it, something that you may go through tomorrow, so that you look at the way that it was handled, and then you may also think, okay, maybe I can do it that way, or maybe you can have your own same way. Now, one thing I want us to understand is that just because I went through these things and came out does not mean that I have it all figured out. Doesn't mean that I'm no longer going through things. Doesn't mean that I no longer have low days and high days. The fact that I met a man in such a romantic way, in such a crazy way, doesn't mean that everybody will meet a man that way. You can meet a man in the church, you can meet a man in the grocery shop, you can meet a man anyway. It doesn't really mean. But the little I can say about this little that we have read is, if you are a girl or a boy who is not in a relationship and you want to settle down, we shouldn't always look at, well, they say the best place to meet a girl or meet a man is in the church, or I have to go to the club because that's where I must meet a man or a woman, or I have to go to certain, particular places. Love can come from anywhere. Love can come while you're grocery shopping. Something falls out of your hand, somebody helps you to pick it up, and from there, it can come from there. So this particular passage for me, this particular piece that we read, for me, particularly for the young people, for the singles who feel like I must stay in a meeting, a particular meeting, I must join a particular meeting because there are men there, I may meet them there. The truth is, you may as a woman, go to a meeting that is all men. At the end of the day, none of them would want to have a relationship with you, or you may not like any of them. So have a free mind that you can develop a relationship anywhere. It can happen anywhere. I'm not saying, don't try places like your church or I don't know. But open your mind to the possibility of meeting somebody anywhere. Online, in your church group, in your office, during your grocery shopping. Just open your heart, open your mind to the possibility of meeting a man or a woman anywhere. Because if you look at this situation, it's not anything planned. I just went to eat with people that were not even my friends. They were just people I was working for. Okay, they didn't want to leave me at home, so they invited me to eat with them. And somehow, now many times things happen in your life and you think, why? And you're so angry and you're so mad. But sometimes those things can actually bring good things into your life. If this Huayo woman, I remember her name was Patricia, who I sent a message to Nigeria. If she hadn't deceived me, if she hadn't lied to me, if she hadn't taken my money and was playing tricks, if she hadn't called me that moment, if I hadn't gone outside to take that call, I would not have met the person outside smoking a cigarette, who later turned out to be having his birthday and got called on stage and then got invited to our table, where accidentally somebody else was also having a birthday at the table where I was sitting. So many times when that things happen to you, when some upsetting things happen, now it's easy for me to say, because when upsetting things happen to me, I may not reason the way I'm reasoning right now, but it's good for us to understand that sometimes upsetting things can happen and good things can actually come out of them. You know, bad things can happen, and instead of that thing ending badly, good things can actually happen from those things. So if you are single, don't give up on love. Don't give up on, well, where do I go? I only go to work. I don't go out to parties. I don't go to clubs. I don't do this. I don't have a social life. It can happen anywhere. For me, that was not a social life. I was at my work. So it can happen anywhere. Don't lose hope. Don't believe that, oh, relationships, no, they will never happen for me, because I don't live in the big cities, because I live in a village. This place where I was working, I don't know people who know this place. Lanake, it's a very small place. It's a very small place. So it doesn't matter. Before then, I had lived about a couple of months in Brussels, in the big city where you had all the happenings. So at the end of the day, what am I saying to all the young people, whether young or old? If you are single, don't give up on love. Don't give up on the hope of meeting somebody, or thinking that it can only happen when I go to spiritual places. It can only happen when I go to the supermarket. Don't limit yourself to where it can happen. It can happen. Just feel free to give life and love a chance. It can happen anywhere. That's okay. Stay on the page. Somebody sent a message. Let me see. Leave from now. So just a second. Let me read. Okay, so I have a question here. Now, now you have been married for a long time. I am not sure how long. Would you say you made the right choice marrying a white man? Okay. I would say, now the answer, let me put it this way. I would say I made the right choice marrying the person that I married. Whether his color is black or white, I think it's not a question of me marrying a white man. I think it's a question of marrying the person that I married. That's the way I would put it. I wouldn't say I made the right choice not marrying a black man or marrying a white man. I think I made the right choice marrying the person that I married. For me, he could have been black, or okay, in this case he is white. But it's not about his color. His skin tone is about him as a person. Because relationships can go bad, whether it be with white or black, whether it be with Chinese or Indian. I think that relationships work and or fail because of the people in it, not because of the color of their skin. For me, the ethnicity doesn't really make a difference. I don't know if that clarifies it. So I'm still waiting for your questions. For those of you, Funke, Ojo, and Mesiri, I'm still waiting, to receive your question. Okay, blessings sent an inbox. Okay. Okay. Just hold on while I bring out these messages. Okay, Nelson. Okay, let me read it out on my phone. This is a funny one. Nelson says, Mama, you said that you were playing a little hard to get. What if he had walked away that time you were playing hard to get? Because these days some girls do like that. They like you, but they will be behaving as if they are not so much interested. So do you advise the young girls to also play a little hard to get? I didn't say I was playing hard to No, Nelson, I didn't say I was playing hard to get. I said that even though in front of him I was pretending like my interest level was not very high, but I knew I wanted to see him again. It wasn't like I was making shakara, I don't like you. No, we were talking normal. I was being respectful. I was being nice, but I wasn't overly flirtatious. Like, no. I was, how do I say it? Dignified in my behaviors. I was not pretending like, pursue me, no. But I was also not saying, oh, here I am. No. I was cordial. I don't think I would advise. I don't know how to say this without somebody reading a wrong meaning into it. Playing hard to get. I don't know what that really means. What you mean by it, not that I don't know what it means. I know what it means. But I think it's not a good idea to just throw yourself on a person before you know how they truly feel about you. And it's also not a good thing to keep punishing somebody. Now, this was a new relationship, mind you. We didn't know each other that long. So, this was a new relationship. But let's just say for a second that this was a relationship. Just a second. Sorry, please, I'm on live video. So, let's just say for a second that this was a relationship that was already building up, going slowly. You should be able to at least judge. I know that there are many scammers, I know that there are many pretenders, but somehow you should be able to judge exactly the person you're going out with or the person you're in a courtship with. What does he really feel? How does he really feel about me? Is this person with me simply because they need something from me, or is this person with me because they really want to spend their life with me? Now, like I said, our relationship was just a new relationship. So if you feel like I was playing hard to get, I wasn't playing hard to get, but I was also being cautious. I wasn't making a nyanga, I was just being cautious because it was just a new date. And mind you, remember the foregoing. From that morning, everything, we had gone to Brussels, we had wasted time. I was not very, very comfortable already with us going to that place to eat, because I had already somehow messed up the whole day, keeping him in my hairdresser's place while I was weaving Bob Marley and all that. I wasn't very, very, how do I say it? Very, very comfortable. And this was a new relationship, I repeat. So I don't think it's a good idea to just jump, hey, see me, I want to marry, I want to do this, when you're just knowing a person. But after you have known them like for a while, and you know their intentions, you know how they feel about you, the idea of still suffering them, of still making them beg and crawl for you, is not a good idea, because some people may actually say, you know what, I'm done, I'm tired, you can go and get your Prince Charming. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I have to check on my laptop and then read on my phone, otherwise I will log out of the page and that will not be okay for me. Just a second. Okay. I know that you explained in the beginning. Okay, so it starts like this. Good afternoon, ma'am. Nice program. I know that you explained before that that your aim is to motivate and inspire people. I understand that. But what is really your main reason of writing the book? What is the book really about? What is your main reason of writing it? Okay. My main reason of writing the book, I know that when you read the title, it talks about my scars. Everybody knows I have scars on my face. I can't hide it, it's there. And when they see it, they think the main purpose of writing it is about the scars on my face. But that's the fun thing about the book, because it's not about the scars on my face. It's not just about the scars on my face. It's about my life as a whole, at least to a certain point. How do I say it? Let me say, my life up until 3 years ago. A chronicle of my life. It's not an autobiography. It's a chronicle of things that I had gone through. And the purpose of writing it is not to get pity from anybody. My main reason for writing it is because when I went through some of those things, I had a lot of support from my family, my husband especially, and my mother. And after it all happened, I felt like there are many people who may be going through what I went through. Maybe not exactly the same, but something similar, or any other thing that is a burden, that is a challenge in somebody's life. And I realized that if I didn't have the kind of support that I had from my mom and my husband, that maybe I would have been driven to do something that I should not have done. You understand? Because it was after all these things that I went into ministry. And I had the opportunity to visit many churches, many events, many gatherings. And many times after sharing my testimonies, people come up to me to say how I inspired them, how I helped them, how my story inspired them. I get messages of people telling me how I am their role model. And I'm thinking, in my brokenness, in my pain, in my place of low, in my low place, somebody is saying I am their inspiration. I am a source of joy. I'm a source of inspiration. And I was thinking, if I didn't have my family, these people won't be saying this to me, because maybe I may not be here. Maybe I would have turned into a junkie or something, or maybe I would even be dead. So it occurred to me, listening to people's testimonies, people you see, because if you look at me, I have a scar, or I have scars on my face. But many people out there, they don't have anything on their faces. You see them, they look all, pretty and well packaged. But you don't realize, what we don't realize, many of us don't realize, is that many people are carrying scars, bigger scars in their hearts and in their souls. Scars that are, what I have are scars, but they are not bleeding. They are no longer hurt. But there are people who are carrying scars in their hearts that are still bleeding. That's the purpose for which I wrote this book. So that if one way or the other they come across this book, they'll be able to say, okay, if this person went through something like this and they didn't die, they survived, not by their own power, but because they had a support system, maybe I too can survive. Maybe these people may not have a support system like I had, but I believe that the book can be a support system for them. Maybe the book can be a way for them, or even as I'm talking now, can be a way for them to say, I don't have to give up. She didn't give up, so I don't have to give up. So that's the reason that that's my motivation, not just for you to know the story as a story, but to use it as a measure to look at the things that are happening in life. Because in this life we have different kinds of people. You have people who have gone through things in life. You have people who are going through things right now. You have people who will go through things in the future. So in whichever category you find yourself, maybe you have gone through things, maybe you are going through things now, maybe you will go through things later. Realizing that there are people who have been through this, not denying that there is a problem, but knowing that there is hope for you, knowing that you can survive from a place of low and still become something, still do something with your life. Some people get married. Everything is going well. All of a sudden, one person says, you know what, I'm in love with another person. Or no, I don't want you anymore. That person that is being left doesn't or didn't have a mark on their face like I have. But that is a scar that has been inflicted on him or her by another person's rejection. That's a scar that has been inflicted on that person. Somebody goes to school, has a job, and all of a sudden everything is going well and gets fired and is unable to get up again because that job was the hope that they had. That job was the only place where the whole family, depended on. Some people don't get up from these things. Some people just remain, where they fall, they stay there, they just stay down. And I can tell you something, it's not because they are weak. Sometimes people want to get up, but they just don't know how. So because somebody got up doesn't make that person stronger. It just means that either they are lucky to have someone on their side, someone who helped them to, get them a push. In the beginning of the book, I read in the acknowledgement, a lot of people who pushed me, a lot of people who said you can do it, a lot of people who said go ahead. When I said I was going to put my picture on the back of the book, somebody said to me, no, but you are not popular. Somebody like a very rich and famous person, if they put their face on the book, that will make the book sell. I said, but I'm not looking for, I'm not looking at being famous, because I think that I want to do it, and I did it, and I'm glad I did. There were people who said don't do that. There were people who said no, go ahead. In your life, we all need a good support system, a strong support system. And I want to be a support system with this book. It's not about the sales, because if I want to talk about what it cost me to make the book, maybe the price will be too high. But it's on Amazon. Even at this moment, it's on 40% sales, because I know during this corona lockdown, people will need something to do. And I'm reading it online, and somebody asked me a question when I told the person about this new idea from our talented extraordinaire. The person said to me, but if you read the book online, people will not buy it. No, I don't think so. Because I believe people go on Kindle. Those who have Kindle, they go on Kindle, they read the digital copy of the book, and they still order the hard copy. Why? They have read it on Kindle, and it costs them nothing. Yet, after reading it, they still go and buy the digital one. I believe that what must be, must be. If I like, I hide it. What must be, must be. Who will buy, will buy. And I'm willing to share this with my readers. So today, we stopped at page. What page did we stop? So that next time we can. Okay, we start at page 35. We stopped at page 35. I don't want to make it too long. We started after 4, and I want us not to make it too long, so I'm going to stop here. If I don't get another question, so this is vaccine and give us grace. Okay, so I'm going to see if there's going to be another question. Otherwise, we will stop here for today. You need grace. So God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate you. So let me see. If I don't have any other question, then we'll be rounding up tonight. It's just 6 o'clock, so we have done at least an hour plus. Tell us if we have done well. Tell us what you think. Tell us how we can do better. And our purpose here is to make you happy, let you have a good insight about this book. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to read this message. It's not really a question, but let me just read it to you, and then we can round up for today. Glado says, Ma, God bless you for what you are doing. It's a very nice initiative. Thank you and your team. God bless your team. Thank you very much for what you are doing. I really enjoyed the program today. Keep it up. Please let me know the next time you want to do it. God bless you, ma. Thank you very much. It's a very good idea. Thank you. God bless you. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate you. I want to thank all of you who joined me today. It's still your very own Amanda Lasmon, and it's a new project that we're doing now called Live Reading with the Author. My name is Amanda, and I'll see you next Saturday. If for any reason we change time, we will still let you know. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for sticking with me. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions based on what we have read today, if you have read the book yourself, and you have anything at all that you feel you need clarification on, just send me inbox here on Facebook, or send me a text message or WhatsApp message on +32 473 5260 48. Until we meet again, I remain yours truly. Never ever give up. You know why? Your purpose in life is beyond what you are going through right now. Is beyond what you will go through tomorrow. Is beyond what you have gone through in the past. You are walking in purpose, and you should walk in purpose. You are created with a purpose. You are created to walk in purpose. Never let anyone, never let your height, your color, the look of your face or your body, the shape, anything, never let anything beat you down, because your purpose is stronger than anything you can ever go through. God bless you. Bye.